Life in 2020 isn't just all guns and drugs. If it was, we would have named the game Dungeons and Drug Dealers. The best Cyberpunk games are a combination of doom romance, fast action, glittering parties, mean streets, and quixotic quests to do the right thing against all odds. It's a little like Casablanca with cyberware. Maximum Mike. Section 12. Running Cyberpunk. Assorted tips, clues, good stuff, and tricks of the cyberpunk genre.
So how do I run this game?
Glad you asked. Cyberpunk is a challenge for even an experienced referee in that you must create the right atmosphere of grunginess, sleek technology, and pervasive paranoia throughout your entire game. The cyberpunk environment is almost always exclusively urban. Its landscape is a maze of towering skyscrapers, burned out ruins, dingy tenements, and dangerous alleyways. In short, any major city in the world at about 2:30 in the morning when the lowlifes come out in force. The urban environment. The urban environment is critical to your cyberpunk world, whether you use Night City or create your own. Remember that your setting has to have all the right elements. There should be garbage-strewn alleyways. There should be bodies lying in the gutters. There should be wild-eyed lunatics staggering through pre-dawn streets, muttering darkly and clutching sharp knives. Taxis won't stop in the combat zones. There are firefights at the street corner as the local gangs slug it out. Players should find their apartments regularly broken into, their cars vandalized, their property stolen. Crossing town should be like crossing a battlefield filled with looters, riots, crazies, and muggers. And it always rains. Every day should be grim, gloomy, and overcast. The stars should never come out. The sun never shines. There are no singing birds, no laughing children. The last bird died in 2008 and the kids are grown in vats. The ozone layer decayed, the greenhouse effect took over, the sky is full of hydrocarbons and the ocean full of sludge. Nice place. Okay, we're exaggerating, but not much. Trust no one. Keep your, Minami 10 handy. Paranoia is important in a cyberpunk run. Players shouldn't be able to tell who are the good guys and who are the bad guys just by looking at them. Choices between sides should be ambiguous. There should be no clear-cut sense of good and evil, much like real life. Sworn enemies may be thrown together without notice or preparation. Heroes may have to do something illegal or distasteful to accomplish something good. Villains may have to do a little good once in a while. It's the breaks. Your world should have staggering contrasts. In the glittering citadels of the rich, there should be fine food, expensive vices, and beautiful scenery. On the street, things should be cold, hungry, and desperate. There's no middle ground between the haves and have-nots. It's all or nothing. Know the world. First trick to running Cyberpunk, immerse yourself in the genre. We've given you a start with the story Never Fade Away. It should give you the style of speech, the urban feel, and the hard-edged realities of the Cyberpunk world. But you should also hit the local video store, the library, and the record shops for source material. We've included a bibliography of places to start in the sidebar. Play for keeps. Second trick to running Cyberpunk, play hard and fast. You should not be afraid to kill off player characters. You should constantly be getting them into fights, traps, betrayals, and other soap operas. There should be no one that they can trust entirely. No place that's absolutely safe. Never let them rest. This doesn't mean you shouldn't play fair, but you should always play for keeps. If they cache weapons somewhere, steal them. If they stop for a rest, mug them. If they can't handle the pressure, they shouldn't be playing Cyberpunk. Send them back to that nice role-playing game with the happy elves and the singing birds. We've given you some great encounter tables which we suggest you use every time the action drags in Friday Night Firefight. Set the mood. Third trick to running Cyberpunk, atmosphere. Get your heaviest rock tapes and play them during your run. Encourage your players to wear leather and mirror shades. Adopt a sling and invent your own. Replace all the lights in your room with dim blue bulbs. This is the dark future here, and it can't be accurately portrayed in a brightly lit room with milk and cookies on the table. Teamwork, the more the bloodier. Fourth and last trick to running Cyberpunk, teams. You'll notice Cyberpunk groups are not social. The players will have no reason to trust anyone, and the conversational reasons, stop evil, kill monsters, for an adventuring party doesn't work. A bar isn't a place to meet new adventurers, it's a place to scope out potential victims. Parties are more likely to kill each other in a firefight than divide the spoils fairly. For this reason, you'll need a more solid hook on which to hang a cyberpunk adventure. Our hook is the team. A team is a group of people who are already thrown together by fate in some ways which forces them to cooperate. They don't have to like each other, but they have to work together. Besides giving the party a springboard from which to work, the team also makes the adventures easier to run. Players can be given assignments from a higher power, or the entire group can be faced with a problem which requires cooperation to solve. The group stays together or dies. Simple. A cyberpunk bibliography. Just a few of the most well-known books in the cyberpunk genre. William Gibson produced Neuromancer, Count Zero, Mona Lisa Overdrive, Burning Chrome. Norman Spinrad produced Little Heroes. John G. Battencourt produced Johnny Zed. Joan D. Vinge produced Scion and Catspaw. Mick Farron produced Vickers. Walter John Williams produced Hardwire, Voices of the Whirlwind, Angel Station. Bruce Sterling produced The Artificial Kid, Mirror Shades, The Cyberpunk Anthology Islands in the Net. John Brunner produced Shockwave Rider. George Alec Effinger produced When Gravity Fails, A Fire in the Sun. Steve Barnes produced Street Lethal, Gorgon Child. John Shirley produced Eclipse, Eclipse Penumbra. Rudy Rucker produced Software, Wetware. A cyberpunk filmography. Just in case you ran out of books, we have Blade Runner, Max Headroom, Terminators 1 and 2, Alien, Aliens, Liquid Sky, Overdrawn at the Memory Bank, Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Thunderdome, Cyborg, Total Recall, and RoboCops 1 and 2. We've given you a number of teams which might naturally evolve in the cyberpunk world. Each proposes a good mix of character roles and offers many ways in which all the players can become equally involved. Corporate teams. Corporate teams are groups that are orientated around a specific corporation, working together to accomplish the company's goals. The main base of operations is the corporation's offices or security areas. A good corporate team might consist of one or more corps, an executive and an assistant, a netrunner who runs the team's intrusion and computer systems, a fixer who deals with the team's street contacts, a tech, either medical or mechanical, and 2 to 3 solos who handle the combat. Bands. Bands are any group of rocker boys who have gotten together to play music. The band travels from place to place, getting into trouble at each new gig, holding concerts and raising hell. The main base of operations can be a practice hall, a club, or a road bus. There may be any number of rockers in the band itself, although 3 to 4 is considered best. In addition, there will be at least one fixer, who acts as a manager, a possible techie to handle equipment needs, and several solos who are both the bodyguards and the roadies. Various other slots such as groupies and tour personnel can be nomads, corporates playing record execs, and medias as rock reporters or reviewers. Trauma teams. Trauma teams are groups of licensed paramedicals who patrol the city looking for accident victims. They operate from an AV-4 urban assault vehicle, redesigned into an ambulance configuration and armed with a belly-mounted minigun. A typical trauma team would include a driver, corporate, fixer, or solo, although nomad is best, 1 or more med techies, and 2 or more solos acting as security. The team may also have a dispatcher, corp or fixer, in charge of sending them on their missions. A media might also tag along with them, writing stories about their adventures. Mercenaries. Mercs are often hired throughout the cyberpunk world. A typical merc group could include at least 1 fixer to handle contracts, 1 netrunner to handle security systems, computer assault, etc., 1 techie for weapons, 1 med techie for wounded, and any combination of solos or nomads as grunt soldiers. It wouldn't be out of line to have a media there, writing as a war correspondent. A merc group could operate out of a club, a bar, or a well-hidden paramilitary base camp. Gangs. Gangs and counter-gangs are usually the enemies in Cyberpunk, but why not turn the tables? Gangs can also be created for positive purposes, neighborhood defense, to stop other or more violent gangs, or to resist a major invasion by government or the corps. In this context, you could look at Robin Hood or the World War II resistances as gangs. A typical gang could have a lot of solos, nomads, and fixers. There might be a med techie or techie around, and possibly even a corporate if the gang is one of those controlled by a covert organization. A media could be covering the gang from the street angle. Gangs operate out of clubs, bars, and deserted buildings. Nomad packs. Nomad packs are natural teams. They are already together in one group and everyone knows each other. A good nomad pack could include a few fixers to handle in-town negotiations, a netrunner who handles the pack's intelligence work, a mixture of techies and med techies, and any number of nomads and solos. The pack operates from a caravan, an assemblage of RVs, trailers, buses, and cars moving across the blasted landscape of a freeway America. The pack members could travel with the main caravan or as scouts traveling ahead in their own vehicles. Cops. The cop team operates out of a seedy, heavily fortified police station. They might include a few fixers on the vice squad, a netrunner on counterintelligence, a captain, corporate, who handles connections with the city government, and a large number of grunt cops. Don't forget a few Madden solos on the Psycho Squad. Cop teams are better than most, as they allow the referee to break the team into smaller groups of partners if needed. A media might also choose to follow the cop team, looking for hot stories on the crime beat. Media teams. Media teams go anywhere, do anything to get a story. A media team can operate out of a TV or radio station, a newspaper office, or even a major network news bureau. A good media team might include 2 or 3 medias as hard-hitting reporters, a net runner, running communications, information gathering, and computer snooping, a techie for the equipment, and a couple of solos or nomads to provide muscle and protection. A good newsroom will also have at least one harried corporate who has to cover the team with the bosses upstairs. Don't give up your day job. Any one of these teams can fit a character role that isn't described. A low-level rocker boy could moonlight as a trauma teamer while waiting for that big score. A netrunner might do a little time with a corporate team while sneaking into the company mainframe at night. A nomad might do almost anything to earn money while his pack is in town. In these cases, the main character role should be treated as an interest, which may become more important to the team as time passes. 16 and 1600, wired with the max processor edge. Never dying, never breaking, throw myself over the ledge. Have you ever seen the sunlight, screaming fast and mean and low? Get yourself illuminated, get yourself that cyber glow. Made of steel and hard emotion, give me love and face the day. In your face and here to party, never gonna fade away. Johnny Silverhand, Never Fade Away. That was section 12, running Cyberpunk. Pretty small section. I think this is probably a really good section to have for any role-playing game, is what kind of team can you build just right off the bat that would actually be a good assemblage, that would make the players work together. I think D&D, maybe back when this game was developed and created, D&D really didn't have this problem. It was assumed that you just wanted to get rich and kill monsters. Like that, those were the two main things. You didn't really need anything else than that. You didn't need heavily tragic backstories, or you didn't need to have some sort of greater overarching goal. Though I'm sure people did that, it wasn't a necessity. It was assumed that there was 2 main things that you wanted to do. In Cyberpunk, it does seem a little daunting after reading sections 1 through 11, like, well, my guy sounds like an asshole. He's kind of out for himself. How can I, as an individual, cooperate with other people that I see as competition or as threats? This is a perfect answer to that. Just force the players into a situation that they don't like, but will ultimately benefit them in the end. Yeah, this is a good section. I think every RPG should have something like this, because it's not inherently obvious why people would work together and do the things they do. So, yeah, good section. Also, those references, those bibliographies and filmographies that reference cyberpunk stuff, yeah, that's really good. I know I have a few friends who have read Neuromancer and talked how great it was, and I totally believe them. All these cyberpunk references should totally be consumed. I've never heard of Max Headroom, so I should probably watch that. I've seen Alien and Aliens. I've seen the first Terminator. I've seen all 3 Mad Maxes. That's definitely Nomad flavor. I've never heard of the movie Cyborg. Specifically Cyborg. That's not something that I can totally recall. I have watched Total Recall. Haven't watched RoboCops 1 and 2. I know that's probably like a crime against knowing Cyberpunk, but hey, you know what? I have seen Blade Runner, and I think that's like Mike Pondsmith's beloved, so a little give and take. I will be sure to consume those because they sound like a good time, and what a good section. Very short and sweet. Doesn't really teach you much about how to actually run the game or what you need to know. It just kind of assumes that you'll learn the rules verbatim and then gives you creative inspirations, which is fine. It's assumed that you read this thing cover to cover, because what else are you gonna do? This is the 1990s. You don't really have much else if you're looking at role-playing games. But that's it for this section. Until next time.